Hey folks, and welcome to this Twilio tutorial video. This is the 5th video in our series explaining Twilio programmable voice. Now in the last video, we learned how to use the gather verb to collect information from a caller. Now sometimes we don't necessarily need to respond to the user's input. Maybe you simply want to record a message and/or transcribe phone calls to search through the text. In today's video, we'll be making a voicemail that will transcribe a message and send it to us as a text. Now this will teach us how to record a voice call with Twilio, transcribe it, and then handle the recording as well as the transcription results. As per usual, I'll be writing code with JavaScript and running it with Node.js. To follow along, make sure you have the Node.js runtime installed, and I've also dropped the links to the equivalent load in a few other languages below. So if you prefer to use one of those languages, feel free to follow those instructions. Now let's do a quick recap. We've already learnt how to use a web server to serve TWIML with instructions for Twilio to follow. Here is a simple Express app that responds with TWIML that says hello from the server. We've built from this starting point quite a few times now. Now let's modify this to record some audio. To record audio, we simply add a record verb to our TWIML voice response. This works and will record audio immediately and until the caller either drops the call or 5 seconds of silence has passed. Now these will appear in the Twilio console a little while after the recording is complete. In the Twilio console, head over to the Monitor tab and open the logs. There we will find the call recordings. Why don't you pause the video here, give your number a call, and leave yourself a message before listening to it again from the console. Alright, now we have recordings working, but what if we want to access that recording programmatically rather than having to log into the Twilio console each time? We can do this using a callback. Just like a HTML form, we can add an attribute called action to our TWIML record verb. This specifies a URL that Twilio should make a request to once the recording is complete. Let's create another route to handle this request. Once again, we will have a request and be sending back a response. This will be a TWIML voice response as a string. In this JavaScript web framework I'm using, we need body parser to access the parameters sent with the HTTP request. Now this may look slightly different in different web frameworks that you're using, but don't worry about that. As long as you can access those parameters, you'll be good. Now Twilio sends 3 additional parameters in the request to your server. The recording URL. This is a link to a hosted recording of the audio from the call. The recording duration, this is a number in seconds of how long the recording is. And third, digits. This tells us if a digit was used to end the recording or the caller hung up. We won't be using this one today, but it could be useful in some situations. Alright, let's add these to our code. I'm going to send myself a text message with a link to the URL so that I can listen to this in my own time, but you might want to do something else with this. I can use the Twilio JavaScript library to send a message. This looks almost the same as when we created a call from the Twilio API back at the start of this series. We use our account SID and auth token to authenticate our client. Then we create a message for our number from Twilio with the URL of our recording. Now don't forget to send a HTTP response. A simple 200 OK will suffice. Alright, time to pause this video once again and give it a try. Awesome! Now that we've done this, let's add transcription to this recording. This is really easy to do. All we need to do is add a transcribe attribute to our record verb. If we leave it like this, the transcription will be available in the logs shortly after the call has ended. However, we'll be using the transcribe callback to tell Twilio to send the transcript to our server once it's ready. To do this, we'll add the transcribe callback parameter. Now, let's add a route that can handle these requests. We have 2 parameters that we want to watch out for: transcription text and transcription status. Transcription status will let us know if the transcription was completed or if it failed, while transcription text will include the body of the transcript. Let's add some conditional logic. Only if the transcription status is completed will we then create a message from our Twilio number that includes the transcription text. Just like before, we also need to make sure we send a response from our server so that Twilio doesn't throw an error in our logs. Time to pause the video again and give it a try. Give your phone number a call and say a few words. After you end the call, you should receive 2 messages, one with a link to the recording and then another with the transcript text. Pause and try it now. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you found this useful and are ready to start building your voice applications using recordings and transcriptions. You already have some really powerful skills in your developer toolkit, but we're about to dive into some really complex topics. So stick with us over the next few videos as we continue to build our Twilio Voice superpowers.